Hey folks, let's learn something new about the oil and gas industry. All right, today we're in Sugar Land, Texas, sitting here with Dick Murphy. And Dick, you've had a long history in oil and gas. I'm glad you could join us.
Great to be here.
So do me a favor, tell me a little bit about your background. We've known each other for a while, but my audience I don't think has met you yet.
Okay, I have 2 engineering degrees, one from BS in Mechanical Engineering from Cal Berkeley, and a degree of engineer from Stanford University in Petroleum Engineering. So I graduated in 1977, started work with Phillips Petroleum Company. I was with them for nearly 5 years, 4 of it in Norway, where we opened up Phillips's enterprise in the Ekofisk area. I was a reservoir engineer and a supervisor with them, and then in 1982 I left Phillips. I went to work for Marathon Oil Company and spent the next 28 years with them. 5 in London, 2 in Aberdeen, 3 in Anchorage, and 18 in Houston. And I varied in reservoir engineering through management and through planning, exploration, economic evaluations, and I retired in 2010.
Wow, so over 30 years in the oil and gas industry. You have seen all kinds of change.
Well, I got to see the opening of the North Sea, really, the starting up of the Ekofisk area, because that's Phillips's crown jewel, or one of them. And to see that grow, to see it start from nothing to grow up to what it was fascinating. And now to go into the shale plays, it's a completely different world. And the technology is so different over the 35 years that I've been involved in this. It's tremendous. What we used to do in terms of simulation back in 1982 or in 1980, now you're 100, 1,000 times bigger in terms of what you can do.
Yeah, that is awesome. So Dick and I are both members of the Society of Petroleum Engineers, the Gulf Coast chapter. And I got introduced to Dick when they were looking for volunteers. And you've heard me talk about this before, that I help teach STEMs. And this is a wonderful thing to do. The oil and gas industry has a shortage of STEMs talent. And quite honestly, you're giving something back to the world. And it feels good. So Dick, let's talk a little bit about your involvement with the whole STEMs thing in SPE.
What got me involved in this was after I retired 3 years ago. I retired 5 years ago, but 3 years ago, I've always had wanted to do some tutoring because being an engineer, I could do the math, and I had a pretty good idea on the science. And so I wanted to get involved with students at the high school levels in math or physics or chemistry. 3 years ago, I decided to become a substitute teacher. I figured that's one way to get in so that the district could see what I could offer. Literally within an hour of getting approved, Dulles High School and Fort Bend ISD called me up and wanted me to do a long-term 7-week substitute teaching assignment in chemistry. That was a challenge because I hadn't seen a chemistry class in 40 years. And so I had to relearn the subject, but I found the teachers to be outstanding, the materials to be great. I thoroughly enjoyed my 7 weeks of teaching on-level chemistry and pre-AP chemistry. After that, I realized that I enjoyed doing this, but I wondered, the teachers have a tough time getting around to everybody in the classroom. When you have 30 plus students in a classroom, it's impossible for them to get to everybody. And especially when you're dealing with on-level students, the distribution of knowledge within that level is tremendous, from those that are pretty good at the subject to those that are really struggling. And they could be struggling for a number of reasons. And so I offered to Dulles High School, to the department head, why don't I come in 1 to 2 days a week in chemistry and physics at the teacher's discretion, and I'll be sort of like an extra teacher in the classroom, following their instructions, helping the students with their lessons, and I'll do it all for free. And they took up on that, and now it has morphed to where I'm at Dulles High School 4 days a week. I'm with 6 teachers. I handle 3 levels of physics and 1 level of chemistry. But a year ago, I made the SPE aware of what I was doing because I felt what I was doing was not unique. Just because I was doing it didn't mean no one else could do it. So I knew the president, or the chairman of the SPE here, and I told them what I was doing. They thought it was great. And so we went out and we solicited members within Fort Bend ISD to see who wants to do the same thing. Mark is one of them. We had 4 others besides himself, a total of 6, including me. We pilot programmed this thing at 3 high schools, Clements High School, Dulles High School, Austin High School, and Fort Bend ISD to make sure it could work. It did. The department head at Austin and at Dulles High School want more tutors this year, more volunteers. And so we're trying to expand this now to Katy ISD and at Katy Taylor High School carefully to make sure, again, it can work. All of us have found this to be very personally satisfying. You get emails from students or from parents thanking you for helping them and to understand the material, taking the time to do it, to share your knowledge with them, to help even the ones who really get it. They want to know, what's it like to be an engineer? And so you tell them directly, this is what the game is all about. This is what you're really heading towards. And you're a real live example of one. And they see you as a role model. And any benefit we can give the students to help them understand this, whether they never use chemistry or physics in their life again, the process, the thinking, that will always help them. And since we really don't know what we're going to be doing in the future, they could be involved in some business that has to deal with chemistry or physics in some tangential way, that now they will then understand better what's going on and be more productive. It can only help them.
Yeah, and let me stop here and clarify because Dick's an engineer. This is science. So I actually teach biology. I don't teach chemistry or physics. So any science out there that you feel like you could help a student learn, we would welcome you. So one of the things,
even if it's math, because what I've noticed is that I can see this also is applicable in math. Frankly, this could be applicable in just about any class, as long as the teacher and the mentor are willing to do this. But certainly in math, whether it's Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Pre-Calculus, all these classes could similarly use mentors.
yeah, and then also as far as a commitment of time, I do half a day on Friday, so you don't necessarily have to jump in this with both, especially if you have a job or other type of responsibilities. So Dick, I know you're...
And also along that line, like when Mark was mentioning, he does half a day a week on Friday. Yes, I do 4 days a week, but that's just me. Others will do 1 day a week. They may not do every Thursday. They may do a Tuesday, maybe they'll do a Thursday. The teacher tells them they can't come in on Thursday because they're testing. Come in on a Wednesday. They come in on a Wednesday. You always can take your vacation because you do. You're a volunteer. The teachers accept that. So this is not a firm commitment like a real life job, but it is a commitment because you are committing to helping them whatever amount you've offered.
Yeah, so we need more people to help. So if you're in the, would you say greater Houston area?
I would say right now, the greater Houston area, granted, we're focused on Fort Bend ISD and Katy ISD, but if we get a number of volunteers that want to help out at HISD or Spring Branch or Friendswood or the Woodlands area or wherever, let me know. And then we can see the number of volunteers and then work something out. Or if you live in a different area and you want to come down to Fort Bend or to go to Katy, that's perfectly fine because you don't have to live in the district to volunteer in the district.
Yeah. So Richard, if people wanted to find out more and get involved, what should they do?
The simplest way is to contact me by email. And my email address is stancal, STANCAL, at Windstream, WINDSTREAM.net.
Yeah, and we'll put a link up in the show notes so you don't have to be writing stuff down. So Dick, thank you so much for your time.
It's been a pleasure. I hope some of you out there, regardless of your age, regardless of what you're doing, if you feel this is something you want to do, let me know. And then we can try to work it out. And if you're retired, you're out of a job, working part-time, self-employed, whatever it may be, we would welcome you into this. And I know that you'll find it personally rewarding.
Yeah, and I'll echo that. It is unbelievably personally satisfying to help these kids out. So folks, I hope this helped. We will see you next time.